Welcome back once again, and following up with the regional developments and the American-Israeli Iranian military confrontation that has been taking place for a few days now, and with the space of confrontation expanding day after day, we're continuing to give you full coverage of and updates over the latest events that are escalating inside the region, and we're very delighted to be joined over the phone with Dr. Mohamed Amer, the journalist and political analyst. Good morning, Dr. Mohamed.
Good morning. Thanks a lot.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, very fine.
How do you assess generally the latest escalation inside the Middle East concerning that the strikes have been expanding to other Gulf countries ever since the second day, and then with retaliation on the American part? Exactly where do they stand now? Where does this war stand now exactly?
The Middle East now currently finds itself at a very critical strategic crossroads. What we are witnessing now is no longer just a localized friction, but actually it's more of a complex overlap of security, energy, and even maritime interests. Whatever the kind of masculation or miscalculation that will happen in the current U.S.-Israel-Iran standoff will never just threaten regional borders, but actually it will threaten the pulse of the global trade and stability of the international energy markets. However, the brutality of this shifting from only a contained strike to a wider regional conflagration is currently at its highest level in decades. We're not only talking about discussing a shadow wars or even proxy friction. We are talking about direct strikes that initiated only a few days ago. This has dismantled the traditional rules of engagement, with the confirmed loss of the senior leadership in Tehran, in Iran, and the subsequent retaliatory strikes in the Gulf from the Emirates to Qatar to different countries. Actually, the conflict now has already technically crossed the threshold into multi-front regional wars, and nobody knows how this will end. But that's what we call limited phase, actually initiated by the president of the U.S. President Donald Trump, has only effectively ended. But now a new phase will start as the targeting of sovereign capital, global shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz or different places. This will demand actually a collective regional response that transcends bilateral tensions in the region, of course.
Right. Dr. Mohamed, of course, there were American media outlets from the second day raising questions like the reason for the sudden war and this military confrontation and the reason for a second round at this particular time. And of course, this question is delivering several messages. Among them is that there are announced reasons, which is the nuclear activities that was not proved by the International Atomic Energy Agency or the United Nations or anything to give them the access to strike Iran. But at the same time, there are hidden reasons, which is changing the power balance inside Iran and in the Middle East and taking control over Iran's oil.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
How do you read this particular point?
Well, when we talk about oil, actually this will extend to the Gulf for sure, because the prospect of the conflict itself is spreading to neighboring countries is no longer only a theoretical scenario. It has become an active operational reality since the strikes started. And we have seen Iran launching retaliatory missile attacks and even drone attacks targeting not only Israel but also U.S. military assets and their own interests in the Gulf. Multiple GCC countries have been struck, including Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, as I mentioned before. However, this long-range strikes not only attacking trade interests, but also oil interests, which is at the heart of the attack itself. This demonstrates how Tehran views the hosting of the U.S. forces as a direct involvement in the conflict. And without such involvement, there would not be attacks like those for the first time. Furthermore, the interception of certain missiles over Jordanian and even Saudi airspace, this highlights the geographical inevitability in such a region, where we have neutral neighbors. Yes, we have neutral neighbors that with no other interests, but they found also themselves their own sovereignty is being compromised by trajectory of modern ballistic warfare and different missiles that are being struck to their countries. So actually, we are talking about not only missile attacks, but we're talking about also about long range missiles and even cyber attacks attacking those particular countries. But it's not only the GCC countries. We're talking about multiple countries that will be one day. It's not far away. Actually, they will be involved in the conflict. But it's not only the GCC. I totally assure you.
Right, Mr. Mohamed, with the all the situation unfolding and the failure of the United States for maybe for the 100 million time to wage a war in a legal way without even the approval of a Congress. Just like the same very mistakes that George W. Bush Jr. did in Iraq when he wanted to invade Iraq, did the same thing with no approval from the United Nations, from the International Atomic Energy Agency or the Congress. So again, those mistakes are repeated. How is that going to affect the popularity and the reputation of the current American administration for probably the future, especially that probably Donald Trump is promoting himself as a peace ambassador and also another term?
Yes, exactly. Actually, me and you and all people know that Trump's popularity is now at its lowest. But actually, when the man is actually achieving certain goals since day one of the attack, actually, I think he's on the right track, according to, of course, to the U.S. theory or the theoretical background of the things. So when we're talking about the rules of engagement that have undergone like radical transformation since day one, like getting rid of the supreme leader of Iran, the top head of Iran. Actually, this man has been achieving particular steps and particular success since day one. Actually, the engagement now is not between the U.S. and Israel and Iran. Actually, we're not talking about a shadow war. If it's only a shadow war, that would not be even close to the American dreams for the region. Actually, we are talking about carefully targeting strikes designed to signal intent without triggering a total collapse. So if the American losses are not at its height, I think the man is achieving his own goal. So apart from the Congress, apart from the admission, apart from anything actually else, the man is achieving successes on ground, and especially with the collapse, which didn't happen till now, the collapse of the Iranian regime. I don't think they won't be interested in such
right.
things.
On that note, of course.
Is so keen on this.
Dr. Mohamed Amer, the journalist and political analyst, would like to thank you, sir, talking to us on Nile TV International. And now it's at the heart of the current crisis lies the narrow and strategically vital Strait of Hormuz, through which roughly 1/5 of the world's crude oil and liquefied natural gas pass daily, and recent military escalations have affected that directly. And of course, probably a complete halt of traffic could be possible, with reports indicating that shipping through the strait has been stalled right now. More details in the following report.
The ongoing war between the United States and Iran has reverberated far beyond the battlefield, triggering significant turmoil in global energy markets and accelerating debates about the world's dependence on fossil fuels. As oil and gas prices climb in response to supply disruptions and geopolitical risk, nations and industries are facing a stark choice: clinch